Late at night, deep in a deserted forest, John thought his last pizza delivery was just another routine stop, until the door opened on its own, and he found himself face to face with the chilling shadows of a long-dead family. What he saw that night would haunt him forever. The Haunting Hour. Pizza delivery boy's true horror story. But wait, first I will ask question. If you were in John's place and saw the shadowy figures of the woman and her two daughters standing behind you in the rearview mirror, what would you do? Would you face them or try to escape? This story is based on a real-life incident that happened to a pizza delivery boy named John during his college days. John worked part-time at a small pizza shop. One night, around 1 a.m., as John was about to finish his shift and leave for home, the pizza shop's phone rang. John answered the call and heard a man speaking in a very soft voice, placing an order for 4 pizzas. Initially, John thought of refusing the order since the shop's closing time had already passed. But since large orders often came with good tips and John needed the money, he decided to take the order. John quickly prepared the pizzas and set out for the delivery. The delivery address was far from the city, in a deserted area. The road was unpaved, surrounded by dense trees, and there were no streetlights, making the area pitch dark. After a long drive, John finally reached the destination, a very old, eerie-looking house located deep within a forest. The house had no lights on, and the surroundings were completely silent. It seemed as though the house had been abandoned for years. Feeling scared, John called his manager to explain the situation and asked if he could leave without delivering the pizzas. But the manager didn't answer. Afraid of his manager's anger and losing his salary, John decided to deliver the pizzas. As John walked closer to the house, suddenly a light inside turned on, giving him a bit of confidence that someone was inside. He rang the doorbell and loudly announced, "Pizza delivery." After waiting for some time, no one answered the door. John rang the bell again and heard footsteps from inside, but still no one opened the door. Just as he was about to leave, the door creaked open by itself. John nervously stepped inside. The hall was dimly lit, and no one was visible. He called out, "Hello, please take your pizza," but no one responded. Just then, John saw a cat dart across the room and run into another room. As soon as the cat entered that room, the room's lights and TV turned on, and the sound of children laughing echoed from inside. John, thinking someone was playing a prank on him, angrily walked into the room. Inside, he saw 2 little girls sitting silently, staring at him in an unsettling way. John scolded them, saying he had been ringing the doorbell for a long time, and no one answered. The girls remained silent, just staring at him. John asked if there was any adult in the house so he could get payment for the pizzas. Suddenly the girls' eyes turned completely white, and their eerie silence turned into horrifying laughter. They pointed towards the door behind John. Frightened, John turned around, only to be shocked by the sight of a horrifying figure of a woman standing behind him. Terrified, John dropped all the pizzas and fled from the house. As he rushed toward his bike, he saw the shadow of the woman and the 2 girls standing at the door, watching him leave. John rode his bike as fast as he could, but after a short distance, the bike started malfunctioning. It slowed down, and suddenly the engine stopped. John got off the bike and realized that the tire was punctured. In a panic, he called the police for help. As he waited, he glanced at the rearview mirror of his bike and saw the shadow of the woman and the 2 girls standing behind him, slowly approaching. Terrified, John abandoned his bike and ran into the forest, hiding behind a large tree. He prayed for his life, and soon he heard the sound of police sirens in the distance. Mustering all his remaining strength, John ran back towards his bike, where the police were investigating. John explained everything to the police and led them back to the house. The police searched the house but found no one inside except a wild cat. The next morning, John learned that the house had been abandoned for the past 2 or 3 years. 3 years earlier, a woman and her 2 young daughters had been brutally murdered in that house. Upon hearing this, John was shocked and realized that the figures he had seen were the spirits of the woman and her daughters. This terrifying incident led John to quit his pizza delivery job. To this day, whenever he thinks of that night, he is filled with dread, haunted by the memory of what he saw. Now I will tell the answer what happened when I was there. Most people might instinctively try to escape like John did, but some might feel frozen in fear, unsure of what to do. The real horror comes from knowing you're not alone, and that something unnatural is watching you. Hey there, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch my content. If you enjoyed the story and would like to see more like this, I'd be so grateful if you could support the channel by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Your support helps me create even better content for you, and it means the world to me. Thank you for being part of this journey